In this chapter, we're gonna create a trigger based on the distance. So for the third setup, I've prepared an example. So let's copy paste it like this, and it's the trigger by distance. So let's dive inside and see what we have. So here is the line. I mean, just a simple line with 3 points and one primitive. Convert line to make it 2 primitive, a facet to split those 2 primitive with the unique point, and the connectivity just over the primitive to get the exploded view there. I've animated the uniform scale, so this is what we have. Okay, and at the end, a color, a black color. So for this example, I would like to set a color by the distance. It means that I want to check the position of the nearest points, and if the distance from the rest position to the current position is higher than the rest position, then I want to set the color, let's say, to 1. So let's do this with an attribute wrangle. So first of all, I want to have a list of the near points for each point. So I will use the near points function with an s. And I want to create an attribute, let's say I bracket at my nears equal near point. I want the first, the position as reference, the radius, let's say 0.1, and the maximum point. So let's say 1 for now. And here we can check that for each point it returns the same points. So we want not 1 point, but 2, let's say. Just need to go back to the frame 1, and now I do have for the point 1 a list with the 1 and 3. So now I would like to iterate over each nearest point and get the position. So let's create a for each like this and create my near. Okay, and let's copy paste this one. Okay, I need the bracket, the curly bracket. And now I would like to get the rest position, the current position, and the distance from the current point to the nearest points for both. So let's do it. So vector, let's say not you. Okay, I want the near rest. I want as well vector not you. Vector near pose. I want the float near east and the float near, or not near, current for current distance. Okay, so now I need the rest. Let's time shift it like this and delete and plug it to the second input. Okay, so now I need to import it, and let's say vector rest equal point 1. I want the position and add ptnum. Okay, actually I don't need it there, but just there. So let's copy paste and like this, but I don't want to use the ptnum, I want to use my near. So let's take off this one and let's finish it. Current position, so with a point, but to the first index. So the p and my near. Okay. And now I want the distance, so the length between 2 positions. Actually, let's call it rest distance. Okay, and I will just copy paste this one to have this. Okay, the rest position, but of my current point, so it will be at ptnum. Oh, like this, and minus the near rest. Okay, so now I want the same thing, the length, but from the position minus the current position. Not the current position, sorry, the near position. So now I just need to compare the rest distance and the current distance. So if the current distance is superior than the rest distance, then at cd equal, let's say, red. So let's check with the animation, and this is working. But it doesn't work if the radius is higher than this one. So if I increase it, it will be better, but until this one. So A good way to fix that, and actually we want to use this way because it's going to optimize the process, is to compute this function and the rest position before the animation. So I will just get this one and up, plug it there, attribute wrangle, like this, and I want as well the rest position, the at rest equal at p. Okay, so now we have the rest. Let's change a bit our functions, and we don't need that anymore. So let's change it there. So 0 and rest. Here I don't need it anymore, so v at rest, and it should be alright. So let's see. It is the case. Even if I reduce the radius like this, yes. Another thing is I don't want to iterate over the same points because there is no point to do it. So let's add a condition. If at Putinum is different than mine here, the curly bracket here and here. So let's make it a bit better, like this and like this. So let's check one last time if it's okay. Yes. And let's rename as well this one. So let's say at, and we just copy paste this one, add mine attribute with a red color, this, and this will be our trigger by distance. Okay, with the red color as well. So now we can go to the second example, and it's just a basic grid. I go there, not you. Okay, with a scatter, a Voronoi fracture to get a lot of different pieces, and assemble some operation inside a VOP. So nothing really complicated, but this is the result that I want. Let's check it outside, and with not a frozen geometry, and take out the point geometry as well, and this one as well. So this is what I want. I've just multiplied with turbulence noise and the amplitude about from the time as well. So nothing really complicated, and this is not really interesting for what we want to see. So now let's just copy paste what we have done there, and this one as well before the animation, and it's there. And let's check. Okay. So as you can see there, I will just set actually not a black background. Here, for example, it doesn't work. Okay, here as well, and maybe some other place here, but because it's the border, so that's okay. But here it doesn't. So maybe it is because of the number of points so we have there. Because here we have 3 different points. So let's check it. Let's check it. Yes. And I just would like to set another attribute instead of the CD. Let's call it I at detached. And I want to cumulate the values. So plus equal 1. And that's why now we have the detached there, and we have 2, for example. So I will just create, let's say, another attribute wrangle just to have a better visualization. So at cd.x equal, let's say, I at detached. And I want to clump it. So let's say 0, 1. Okay. Good. So now let's check what we have. So this is good, and I would like to rename this one. Set color from detached. Oh. And let's have a red color. Good. A bit better actually, like this. So now let's go on the third example. See, this is just a box, like this, with a scatter, Voronoi fracture, the same thing, and a remesh. Let's take off this with a normal. I am extracting the centroid by the name, copy this attribute, and use it to make some operation, and this is what I have. Okay, So let's, and the color as well. So I would like to copy paste what we have done before, is one plus this one, and let's see the result. So this should be there, 2, and this one before the animation, and it should be here. Okay, and this is what we have. So let's dive a bit closer. So here it's not correct, for example. So for this example, I would like to just set the radius smaller, like this, and even make a parameter with that. So CHF radius. Okay, like this, and let's say 0, 0, 1. Perfect. No, actually 0, 0, 1, like this. Okay. I would like to increase the number of points because it will not work otherwise with this example. So no, maybe 5. Doesn't really change. So let's go back to 0, 1. And actually I just need to add a threshold. Because, for example, this should not be red, so it means it's not the exact same rest than the current distance. And sometimes it might happen with some tiny difference, so let's add a threshold to avoid that. So float threshold, put it like this, equal CHF, let's call it threshold. Okay, and I want to say the current distance is superior than the rest distance plus, not minus, plus the threshold. Okay, I just want to get it there, and let's say 0, 0, 1. And this is what we want, so this is good for us. I could even decrease, I guess, the number of the points, let's say 4, it will be good enough. So this is good. So now we can do it on the laboratory. So let's go.